Hello to everyone attending the Midwest Antiviral Drug Discovery Center's annual meeting. I would like to thank co-directors Ruben Harris and Fang Li for inviting me to share a few words. I can't think of a better place for this center to be established than the U of M. The U has long been a national leader in pioneering medical research and advancing innovation, from housing pioneering Professor Charles Hewitt's vaccine lab to performing the world's first kidney transplant to installing the first pacemaker. With a significant federal investment of $66 million, I'm confident that the Midwest Antiviral Drug Discovery Center will join in that grand tradition of innovation and discovery in its focus on developing antivirals that can be taken by patients in their own homes. And we know that the work couldn't be more urgent, as SARS variants have shown us, as well as swine flu, Ebola, Zika, and Lassa fever. Viruses with pandemic potential aren't just going away, and we ignore their potential at our own peril. As researchers and scientists, you understand the importance of tackling tough issues before they become urgent. When it comes to a future pandemic response, that means putting more resources into workforce training, disease monitoring, and yes, vaccine research. Even and especially when we aren't in the middle of an outbreak, this is the time to do it. We know the benefits of investing in science. There's a direct line between the decades of research into the potential of mRNA vaccines and the unprecedented speed at which the scientific community developed effective vaccines that greatly reduced the severity and the mortality rate of the coronavirus. Last year, we took critical steps to bolster our resiliency by including the Prevent Pandemics Act in the budget. It might not have got a lot of attention, but for me, it was one of the most important public health measures we could pass. And I'm pushing now for Congress to reauthorize important programs as part of the Pandemic and All Hazards Preparedness and Readiness Act. Continuing to make these kind of investments will put us in a much better position to prevent and respond going forward. That's because by its nature, so much of this building block work, as I mentioned, must be done in the off years, before a new virus or strain strikes and everyone's running over there with understandable urgency. This is a time to get prepared. Sadly, as the U's own Dr. Michael Osterholm wrote in the New York Times, COVID will not be the last pandemic to strike the United States. That's a big part of why I have consistently worked to increase federal funding for research, including for the National Institutes of Health, which houses the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Last year, I successfully pushed for a $2.5 billion funding boost for NIH, the 8th consecutive year that the organization received an increase. And of course, we are currently pushing for a strong budget for the NIH and against a government shutdown. Okay, more on that at another time. By making these positive investments today, we pave the way to the life-saving cures and therapeutics of tomorrow. When it comes to disease detection and treatment research, my principle is this: the more you know, the more you know. That's why I'm going to continue pushing for further investment in research so we can catch diseases early and be prepared with the next generation of great treatments. I am so glad to have the Midwest Antiviral Drug Discovery Center at the U and in our state as part of this incredibly critical mission. Keep up the great work. Enjoy the rest of today's event. You deserve it. Thanks, everyone.